Now what you were about to watch is something I've dug up from the graves, something I've dug up from the back catalogue of the old Smoof a Pretty Flower stuff. This is Zakk Chat talking about bronze moments, so I hope you enjoy.
Hi team and welcome to Zakk Chat, the show where I'm Zakk and I also chat. Yeah, that intro needs some work. If you're new here, I'm Smoof, formerly known as Zakk, and I talk about things that just come to mind for about 10 minutes. That's about it. Today let's talk about items, specifically items that got buffed, reworked, added to the game, that have changed the meta completely. Or buffed a specific champion and the champion has proceeded to go completely out of control and become pick or ban overnight. If you didn't already know, I've been playing League of Legends since Season 3, and that is now half the game's life. And I have got my fair share of stories about champs that have gone completely out of control because of one small item change. So let me take you down memory top lane, and start things off with the first time I ever saw this happen. It was the first Worlds I ever saw for Season 3 and I was pumped. What's funny though is the patch before this, the Trinity Force got reworked, and alongside the updated Phage, the item actually became viable. Remember when Riot would recommend Trinity Force to like every champ even though it was trash? Looking back, I'm wondering if it was a secret OP but no one actually bought it. Probably not. Anyway, so I watched the first game and they picked Corki. Corki? I was confused. Corki up until now I thought was a trash champion, and to be honest, he was. It didn't take me long to realise that something had changed because he went on to be played in most of the games in LCS Worlds Season 3. It was because of the Trinity Force rework which made him go from being a troll pick into becoming pick or ban worthy and a must-have ADC in professional play. Oh, you're probably wondering why I'm wearing this hat. I guess it's time to reveal. I let my girlfriend make my hair all Christmassy. Ripped blonde, I suppose. But, hair aside, let's just move on. It's just hair. At the end of the day, come on guys, just hair. No need to get emotional. Now I can't remember what order these went in, but let me remind you of a few times when the game went from either being your favourite time to play League of Legends, or being the worst time to play League of Legends, potentially uninstalling the game. Well, this one, specifically, personally, was the worst time for me to play League of Legends because it just wasn't my playstyle. And I'm referring to none other than Feral Flare. During this time I actually stopped playing League of Legends because of the item alone. This item created so much toxicity in the Rift. Junglers would just stack and stack and stack and stack and stack and stack, and then once they hit 30 stacks and actually finished the Feral Flare, they would just continue stacking. They wouldn't gank, because ganking slowed the stacking down, and if you were losing lane, you're stuck there on your own, and if you were winning lane, you wouldn't receive any jungle pressure. Just none. It was a truly horrible time to play, but this wasn't the only reason why Feral Flare was such a toxic item. The reason why Feral Flare is such a toxic item, in my opinion, is because of the champions the item encourages to play. There were 5 that I could think of off the top of my head, and oh my god, these were a salty bunch. First off we have Udyr. The amount of players that try to emulate Trick 2G but end up sucking endless bum is embarrassing. But these were the Udyrs on your team. My team. The enemy Udyr was a tanky piece of shit who dealt so much damage and always got away with no health. Udyr was not fun to play against, but Warwick was just as bad. It was the same situation, he just dealt so much damage with a fully stacked Feral Flare, and the rest of his build was just tank. But don't get your hopes up, because this Warwick isn't on your team, or my team. No, 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 no. This is the Warwick on the enemy team. Your Warwick, and my Warwick, is the Warwick that stacks Feral Flare, but then proceeds to buy a Wit's End, Berserker Greaves, 2 Death Caps, and something else that isn't tank. And then he becomes the most glass cannon werewolf in the world. But the problem is, Warwick deals consistent damage, he deals DPS, he doesn't burst people, not really. So it just didn't work. Kayle and Vayne, they were horrible for obvious reasons. I mean, their damage alone was enough to cause riots and nerf Feral Flare to only really work on was that the other one? The newer one. That also got taken out of the game because it was just shit. I can't remember. I'm pretty sure these two alone caused riots and nerf Feral Flare for ranged champions. They just dealt too much damage. I hated them. Hate is a strong word, but not strong enough in this situation. There needs to be a stronger word. But my most hated champion that used Feral Flare was none other than Master Yi. He would stack the jungle back, 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 and just complete rinsing and repeating until he has completed his Feral Flare. And then he will stack the jungle back, stack the jungle back, stack the jungle back. I mean, well, at this point he doesn't really need back, but you get the point. But this was the Master Yi on your team. My team. Oh, let me tell you a thing or two about the Master Yi on the enemy team. The enemy team, Master Yi would stack the jungle until he got Feral Flare, and then stop stacking and actually join team fights and one-shot your tank. So the Feral Flare patch was my least favourite time to play League of Legends ever. I can't think of a time which I hated more. When playing video games, I want to have fun, and that was not my idea of a good time. I think Feral Flare was a toxic item because it encouraged players to finish stacking the item, but because if you carried on stacking you would deal more damage, people don't really know when to stop stacking. Does that make sense? Makes sense to me. It's just Nasus all over again. It's just Nasus all over again, really. But another big item that changed the meta completely, and in my opinion, for the better, was the inclusion of Cinderhulk, buffing tank junglers completely. Okay, so Feral Flare may have been my personal worst time to play League, but I'm sure there's people out there who loved it. But Cinderhulk was the opposite. I loved it. So many people hated it. I know a lot of people who hated the Cinderhulk patch because it brought in the first tank meta for years. But I play tanks, specifically tanks in the jungle, so I loved it. But people who mained mid lane and ADC specifically just hated it. Nothing they could do. They hated it. Assassins were gone, low mobile ADCs were gone, incoming Vayne. It changed the meta completely. But I remember one champion that strove, is that strived? Strove? Who cares really, but this one champion just exploded out of nowhere, and I loved playing her in the first place, but she was always kind of average. Not bad, not good, just average. And that champion was Sejuani. She was so strong, Riot decided to nerf her before they nerfed Cinderhulk, which, I mean, I think, and still do think, that was a stupid move, because the next patch they went on to nerf Cinderhulk, but they didn't buff Sejuani back to what she was, so she just became this kind of trash champion. And I was a bit annoyed about that because I fucking love Sejuani. Sejuani was fun. She still is fun. She's a... Learn to breathe, Zakk. Learn to breathe. What was I talking about? Sejuani, she got nerfed, buffed, nerfed. Oh yeah, Sejuani's in a good spot now, but back then when she first got nerfed and Cinderhulk got nerfed, she was just trash champ. I was sad, but at least she didn't get a full rework like most of my favourite champions tend to do. I swear my champion pool is just getting smaller and smaller because I just don't have the time to learn the new reworked champions. I miss old Katarina. But let's move on to the most recent rework that has caused a champion to go from 0 to hero. That champion is Hecarim, and Hecarim got buffed because of the Trinity Force rework. Another Trinity Force rework. What is it with that champion item that just causes champions to just go completely berserk and out of control? I remember in Season 3 when Hecarim and Kha'Zix were the most broken pieces of shit in the entire game. So, naturally, Riot just nerfs them into the ground, and it's only recently they've kind of seen a resurgence. Kha'Zix got buffed because of the Assassin rework, and now he's good again. And Hecarim got buffed because of the Trinity Force rework, but it's also because of the amazingly OP Courage of the Colossus. Ah, what a great mastery. Hecarim now blasts in, gets an early kill, and can just snowball out of control until the game is set and match. I've decided to pick up Hecarim again and I'm loving him. But I hope you enjoyed me taking you down memory lane. I know I did. And now let's open up this one-sided conversation. Please write in the comments section what you think about these item changes. If you have any specific memories with any of the items I spoke about, or any items that I didn't speak about. I mean, I didn't play in Season 2 or 1, or Beta, or Alpha, or I didn't make the game. So, I mean, I don't know about any of the ones before then. I'm only specifically talking about the ones Season 3 and beyond. But I'm Zakk, and I'm done chatting. God, the outro needs some work as well. But cringy outro aside, like the video, and if you're new here, subscribe, and I will see you all in the fields of justice. Yeah, this video is really dark, I know. I should probably invest in some decent lighting. Or maybe I should have just turned that light on from the start. Fuck. Oh well. No.
Well, that was me talking about bronze moments. I hope it wasn't too cringy, because it probably was. And I hope you enjoyed the A Pretty Flower classic that is coming up. It's very bad. I need to stop saying that. I'm not exactly selling it.
Someone chase him into this bush.
Okay.
Chase them in.
Chase them, like.
So
Like, bait them. Someone bait them into this bush. Just like fucking YOLO into the bush. Flash over the wall, run into the
all of you flash into the bush.
Fuck.
No,
Really?
we got this.
Really?
Under the bush.
Oh, fuck.
Really?
Okay, let's try again.
Go, 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 go. Fucking YOLO it.
Gregus is coming, Gregus is coming.
Fight.
Gregus
Got a
is
bot.
there.
Oh my god.
Ah, they're coming.
So gonna die.
Get blue, it's worth.
Smite the blue.
You got blue?
Oh no. Oh no, first blood. I live. Oh, she flashed. Wow.
Best start
Fuck
ever.
this 3 of us died.
And I burnt both my summon.
Oh my god.
I didn't buy anything.
Delete.
I think that's worth a little dance.
This is gonna be one of those games.
Alright, I'm gonna jump on Tristana. You ready?
Ooh, that damage.
That damage though, when he's walking
Ooh,
around.
that damage.
Okay.
I think
Oh, hello.
Gregus is coming
There's
down.
This game.
Gotta bum rush my lane.
Oh my fuck.
Seriously.
I think this is going quite well.
Yeah, this is going great. This is literally the ideal for a game.
Yeah, we couldn't ask for a better start. Your clone's coming down.
Oh god, there's a hacker
Oh
in
god,
here.
I'm coming.
Oh god, Gregus is coming.
Matus.
There's Leona behind me.
Did you survive? You survived!
So long as Matt got out of there alive, it's okay. Oh my god.
Oh,
Oh.
oh, the AoE madness.
Worth.
Don't-
Lord Jesus did the far.
Don't die.
I'll be so sad.
Lord Jesus, I didn't die this day.
On to preaching of a day. On to gank this Tristana another
By the
day.
way, mid is
Down
missing.
to fucking ulti this Tristana right now in the face. Yes!
Get.
Oh no!
I'm on the road!
Oh,
Jesus Christ.
Oh, hello. Oh! Oh! Oh god. Oh, this is actually a really good fight.
Good night.
Be careful with Rengar, be careful with Rengar.
How did we win it?
Yeah, get
Rengar, Rengar!
Kill him, just kill him. You got one choice.
Oh
Oh.
my god.
I don't know. Oh, motherfucker.
Damn it, that was a really good fight.
And then the 8-1 Rengar just came down.
Easy.
Oh,
Whoa!
so
Alright, engage! Mush. Mush. I said mush.
kill the Gragas! Kill the Gragas!
Oh no, Matt bait them onto the mushrooms and jack-in-the-boxes. Oh, get
Is that a great bait or
Go
what?
in.
Oh, the Twitch!
Oh god, Gragas.
I'm gonna come
Done on Gragas.
So what's the plan?
We should fight because Gragas is bot.
But we've got an AP Shaco on our team lane.
Oh!
Oh,
Oh!
I'll never diss AP Shaco.
TP Shiko again!
Oh god, I got the stun.
Rangonian justice.
Oh yes!
Oh, the place! Inherp it!
Dawn is up.
Gragas is missing.
Yes.
Well played, gents.
Matt, you
Serious.
better box them like a bitch.
Gonna bitch them like a box.
Like a box. Put my dick in the box. There's a ward there.
Let's go. Let's go. I'm on my way.
Bait Baron fight. Bait a Baron fight. Bait a Baron fight. Bait a Baron fight.
If they just don't even come,
Baity.
They're coming.
even before they just push mid and get on
Ow.
everything.
Ooh. I'm waiting for Rengar to show up.
Someone's gotta step in this bush at some point.
No, don't kill me.
Oh my fucking god.
So yeah, you waited for Rengar to come, and he deleted.
He can. Ooh. Hold
And the
on.
ceiling can hold us.
Dude, don't be a cheeky bastard. I'm on my way.
Do you want to go Baron? They have to be.
Let's just do Baron now.
Yeah, let's go back. We just take Baron.
Yes, do Baron. Rengar spot. Rengar spot. 33,
Oh,
56.
Jesus. Rengar wasted his ult.
Whoa.
We can fight, we can fight.
Oh,
Damn, Team OP.
It's time to seriously just jump in.
Are you sure? Get Rengar. Please. Get Rengar again right now.
God.
God,
No! Win! Win! Go win!
what the fuck?
We're so. Oh my god.
GG!
This game's retarded.
That last team fight, I can't believe Tristana jumped on me.
I know, she committed suicide, like what the fuck?
We like 5-0 them. It makes no fucking sense. Trolling to shit that whole game. We gave him like 3 kills at level 1.
I went like 2-8 in lane.